Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thanks for joining me once again here on Talk and Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. Courtesy of 5 friends across the pond at boxing247.com, and I encourage you to go to their site for all the news that I'm not able to squeeze into each of these episodes. Let's start off with a brief announcement out of England with respect to Conor Benn, and this is an announcement coming out of the BBBoC. By a notice dated 17 October 2022, Mr. Conor Benn was called by the board of the BBBoC to attend a hearing to deal with allegations of misconduct pursuant to Rule 25.1.1. The hearing took place on the 21st of October 2022. On the morning of the hearing, Mr. Benn voluntarily relinquished his license with the BBBoC. In accordance with its rules and regulations, the board determined the allegations following the hearing at which Mr. Benn was legally represented. The allegations of misconduct against Mr. Benn were upheld. We will leave that in your capable hands to Google all the information you need to find out regarding the ramifications of Conor Benn. To me, it was a black eye and remains a black eye in the sport. And I still think that Eddie Hearn should have all of his entire boxers on his roster submit voluntarily to any number of tests that are required to prove that they are clean, healthy, and fair fighters. All right, let's move on to Germany. The P2M Boxing Promotion Company has just been formed, and it's been formed in the city of Hamburg, and set itself a goal of making a comeback of professional boxing in Germany with a kickoff event with the Women's Double World Championship. The creators of P2M are investor Axel Plass, a shareholder of one of the most successful German logistics companies, a company called Zippel Group, along with his cousins, or maybe they're just cousins, along with cousins Christian and Rico Morales, who have gained experience in various functions in amateur and professional boxing over many years. At the start, the new promotion succeeded in signing promising fighters. Nina Meinke, 29 years old, has been one of the most famous German female boxers for years. The European champion from Berlin narrowly and controversially lost her featherweight world championship fight on points in April, and now wants to finally secure a world championship belt with her new promoter. P2M managed, however, a real coup with the signing of middleweight Simon Zackenhuber from Stuttgart, who had been approached by different promoters, apparently. The 24-year-old Bavarian, who became known to a broad public through his likable appearances on Let's Dance, is unbeaten in 17 professional fights and is the current IBF Junior World Champion and International German Champion in the middleweight division. With Peter Kaduri, 25 years old from Hamburg, the current German champion, and the highly talented Victor Jurk, 22 years old from Flensburg, P2M was able to sign two of the most promising young German boxers in the top weight class. Both have already spent several weeks as highly praised sparring partners in world title preparation camps run by Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, and Derek Chisora. Peter Kaduri is currently even facing a possible EBU European Championship fight. The two heavyweight pros are advised by former Klitschko manager Bernd Bonte, who is looking forward to working with the new boxing promotion company. Said Bonte, "I'm thrilled that with P2M, a new player has entered the boxing business. The fact that Axel Plass, is convinced of the sustainable concept of the new boxing stable and is involved as a strategic investor is a great benefit for boxing in Germany. I'm firmly convinced that with these talented and very marketable athletes, German boxing will make a strong comeback. I'm convinced that with these marketable fighters, we will soon see a big comeback of boxing on German TV." And as we know from various people who we've interviewed on Talk and Fight, the Germans these days are well situated, and I'm thinking it's going to be a complete success. Looking forward to many more announcements. I'm just reading forward onto this article here and seeing what else might be newsworthy. But I invite you to go to boxing247.com, read that full article for yourself, and let's move along to Universum, Jim. out of Hamburg, who've announced a fight between Zan Kosabutsky and Alexis Garcia. On November 20th, Universum have their next boxing evening in the Universum Gym at Hamburg's Fish Market. And they've invited a whack of celebrities to the evening, which looks like it's going to be a good one. Universum Box, Ismail Özen-Otto, is happy about the upcoming event, it says, for the first time in cooperation with Probellum Holding. He said, "We've put together a top fight card. This is our first event with our new partner. With Probellum, we have a strong partners at our side and look confident in a common boxing future." Fair enough. As I said, the event starts at 7:30 p.m. Doors open at 6 p.m. local time and will be broadcast live on their YouTube channel, Universum TV. Elsewhere, the press tour for Saturday's showdown between Vasily Lomachenko and Jamaine Ortiz is officially underway. Ortiz, the unbeaten reigning USBA and NABF lightweight champion and number 9 ranked lightweight in the WBC, faces Lomachenko live on ESPN Plus on October 29th in a 12-round bout at the Hulu Theater, Madison Square Garden in New York City. To headline a loaded fight card promoted by Top Rank Boxing in association with CES Boxing. So the festivities have begun today with a press conference scheduled, and both of those events, as well as a live weigh-in, are scheduled for 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Top Rank's YouTube channel and Facebook and Twitter channels as well. Saturday's fight is a milestone moment in the career of Ortiz, a rising star in the lightweight division, under the guidance of promoter Jimmy Birchfield Sr. and the president and CEO of CES. Fresh off his biggest win to date against former Olympian Jamel Herring back in May, Ortiz boasts a 16-0-1 record with 8 knockouts. Considered one of the sport's all-time pound-for-pound greats, Lomachenko hardly needs an introduction in the boxing circles. That's true. The 34-year-old Ukrainian has held world titles at featherweight, super featherweight, and most recently lightweight in just 18 pro fights following a stellar amateur career in which he won 396 fights. Losing just once. And by the way, capturing gold medal at the 2008, gold medals at the 2008 and 2012 Olympics. Waiting in the wings for both challengers Saturday's potential winner-take-all showdown against 23-year-old unbeaten lightweight sensation Devin Haney, who recently defended his IBF, WBC, WBO, World and WBA Super World Lightweight titles in a rematch against George Kambosos. So, depending on which odds you follow, Ortiz is listed as a 10-1 underdog against the experienced Lomachenko, and national media pundits in the UK are already salivating over the prospect of a Lomachenko-Haney showdown for lightweight supremacy. Ortiz has heard and read it all and plans on shocking the world, it says, Saturday in New York City. Lomachenko is a great fighter, Ortiz said, but I'm here to win. Once I win this fight, I'm targeting a world title opportunity. This is a dream come true. All right, fair enough. Let's move along. On Saturday, October 29th as well, we're going to see promoter Paco Damian out of Paco Presents in honorary association with Dan Chagin Productions. They'll proudly present Showdown at Cache Creek, a five-fight night of world-class boxing at Cache Creek Casino Resort in Brooks, California. In the night's main event, local favorite Alex Sanchez, 21-5-1 out of Fairfield, California, via Guadalajara, will face undefeated Saul Avatar Bootsas, 15-0-1, 8 knockouts, and he fights out of Los Angeles. That's a 10-round battle for the WBA Feta Centro Welterweight Championship. In the co-main event, action hero Blake the Beast McKernan, 13-1 out of Sacramento, will take on League City, Texas slugger Roberto Silva in an 8-round cruiserweight battle with fight of the night written all over it. McKernan, an ex-Army machine gunner and Iraq veteran, will be looking to bounce back from his only career loss, a multi-weight world champion Badu Jack decision in November of 2020. On the undercard, Fairfield, California's Ivan Vergara, 8-1, will return from a 3-year absence to face undefeated southpaw Juan Miranda, 6-0, in a 6-round featherweight contest, while undefeated lightweight Kevin Montana, 3-0, out of Concord, California, will take on Corona, California's also undefeated Kevin Perez. And opening the action will be former amateur standout Federico Pacheco Jr., making his heavyweight pro debut in 4 rounds against Joshua Vargas, 33-1, but it's actually 3-1, and he fights out of Panorama City, California. Good stuff out of California, the west coast of America, indeed. Speaking of California, WBA number 14 bantamweight contender Eros Correa, 12-1, 8 knockouts out of San Jose, California, faces Luis Fernando Saavedra, 9-7 out of San Luis Pedros. That's in Mexico. A 10-round bout that will serve as a main event on Thompson Boxing's New Blood card. New Blood will take place at the Omega Products International Center in Sacramento, California, November 5th, 2022. Doors opening at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, with the first fight scheduled for 8 p.m. Pacific time. Let's have a quick look here. Said Correa, I feel like I'm really close to getting in position to fight for a world title. I'm looking to get a big win at home against Saavedra. That's a tough one, man. It's spelled Saavedra. Saavedra. Anyway, Correa, who defeated top contender Saul Sanchez in his last fight, he said, "This is not an easy fight with Saavedra, who fought tough against some big names. A victory will get me close to my goal of fighting for a world title in 2023. I want to also express my appreciation to Thompson Boxing for showcasing me in the main event." For his part, Saavedra said, "I'm more than just an opponent. I've made a career out of giving people hard fights, and this will be no different. I want Correa to remember one thing: don't overlook me. I'm coming to win and win impressively." Okay. In an 8-round co-main event, Oakland's own Demone Kato Kane, 7-0, who has a strong fan base in Sacramento, battles Rashid Stevens, 6-1, and he fights out of Gardena, California, and that's a super welterweight contest. The underbout cards, let's have a quick look here. The undercard bouts feature cruiserweight Sure Mumutovic out of San Francisco. He's going to fight Cody Kerr. Lightweight Kane Sandoval fights an opponent to be announced. Welterweight Alan Medina out of Fresno will make his pro debut against an opponent to be announced. But opening the card will be middleweight Rowdy Montgomery, 7-4-1, out of Victoriaville, California, facing Rick Graham out of Houston, Texas. Wow. The event is sponsored by Hustler Casino, LA's only luxury casino. And I have to wonder if that is Hustler Magazine's casino. But anyway, Thompson Building Materials, transforming spaces into beautiful places. Omega Products International, the leading stucco manufacturer in the United States. Bellegarde paves the way, and Makita rule the outdoors. An interesting slew of sponsors indeed. New Blood, by the way, will stream live for free on the Thompson Boxing Promotions website. Let's have a quick look into November here. On Saturday, November 19th, undefeated Parisian Arsène Goulamirian will return for the first time in nearly 3 years to defend his WBA Super World Cruiserweight Championship against undefeated number 1 contender Alexei Egorov at the La Palsterie in La Canette, France. That'll be live on Canal Plus at 7 p.m. French time. A native Armenian, Goulamirian, 26-0, will be making the second defense of his Super Championship against Russia's Egorov, 11-0, in the 12-round main event of a night of world-class championship boxing presented by Y12 Boxing Promotions. The pair had been scheduled to fight last December. However, the defending champion tested positive for COVID, and the fight was postponed. Thankfully, Goulamirian recovered, and he's set to fight. The 35-year-old had been preparing for the bout in Big Bear, California, under watchful eye of well-known trainer Abel Sanchez. He won the interim title in 2018, the WBA Gold World Belt a year later, and was upgraded to Super Champion in 2019. Goulamirian has since made successful defenses against Kane Watts and Konstantin Bejinaru. Inactive himself since 2020, 31-year-old Egrov is a former Russian amateur champion. In his nearly 6-year career, he has already beaten respectable contenders, including Latif Coyote, Tommy Uzhazin, and Roman Golovashchenko. Holy crap. On the stacked undercard, hard-punching EBU European middleweight champion Kevin, the Phenomenon, Lele Sajo, 18-0 from Saint-Maur, Val-de-Marne, France, will make his first defense of his title in a 12-round battle against mandatory challenger Emre Kukar. And he fights out of Munich, Bayern, Germany in the co-main event with a 19-1-1 record. Also scheduled in a 12-round battle for the vacant EBU European Super Welterweight Championship between undefeated 23-year-old Milan Prat, 17-0, out of Drancy, France, and the IBF number 9 ranked Abbas Barou, 12-1, fighting out of Berlin, Germany, as well as an appearance by 2016 silver medalist at the Olympic there and amateur boxing star Virtuoso Sofian Amruku. Is looking for his third consecutive professional victory against an opponent to be announced. Wow. This is the most significant event in France in decades, said Johan Zoe, the chairman of Y12 Boxing. The best domestic fighters are fighting in career-defining fights versus their mandatory challengers. France must once again establish its place among one of the best nations in boxing, and this event is a step in that direction. On November 19th, boxing fans from around the world will see the reemergence of boxing in this great nation of France. Wow. So there are a couple of stories out of not only America and England, but also France and Germany looking to get back into the spotlight. And that, my friends, brings us to an end of this event. I noticed that there's some news emerging out of Puerto Rico. One of Puerto Rico's favorite boxing sons, Miguel Cotto, put on a stellar fight card last night in the midst of the 35th WO convention at the Coliseo Roberto Clemente. Topping the bill were semi-main event Nestor Bravo versus Adrian Young in a vacant NABO junior welterweight title battle, and Brian Chevalier versus Cesar Juarez duking it out for the vacant WBO Intercontinental strap in the main event. Wow. So I don't have results, but I'm sure if you Google results for the fight in Puerto Rico, I'm sure you'll find them. That therefore brings us to an end to today's episode. Boxing News Today on Talk and Fight. Appreciate it. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you later on for Nut Club at 4 p.m. with Mike Orr and Cedric Ben. Thank you.